This time on Captain Cass's Laboratory, we're going to be working on the Lemax Nutcracker piece. This thing is big and it is heavy. It arrived, it has a broken flag. I don't know where the flag is. I did not see it in the box or the packaging. It may have been shipped that way. This inner piece is loose. Probably just came unglued because it looks like it was just glued against the snowy background. So it sits like that, most likely. I was told it doesn't, the ballet dancers, which are still in the box, don't spin. These are the ones that go here. And I guess this one turns too. So it looks like these turn, this one might, and then that disc. So, well, that motor sounds horrible. So, this one's interesting because we got a plastic top with a porcelain canopy or theater attached to the plastic, and then the plastic's attached back to porcelain or ceramic, and then the bottom feels solid. It does have the rubber Lemax mat. Ugh. Right there. And you can hear stuff rolling around inside of it. So I don't know what's rolling around inside of it. Definitely sounds like, almost like a ball bearing, but I doubt it. So, just doing a initial glance at it, I'm going to assume there's nothing under this mat. One, I can see all the glue around here. Two, all the plugs are in the plastic in the back. Oh, sorry, in the porcelain. No, they're in the porcelain. But they're attached right below the plastic. And three, no matter where I tap on the bottom, there's no indentations and no changes in sound if I push and squeeze. So I'm thinking this lifts off from the top like that. You can see the whole thing flex. Hopefully. I don't want to keep doing that in case it pops. I don't want it to fall. So I'm going to use a spudger, a stiff one, and I'm going to work my way around and see what happens here. Apparently the whole front was already coming off. I have never seen this piece, probably because I don't do Christmas pieces, but this is a big piece. I mean, way bigger than the Halloween or Spooky Town. Alright, now I have a little bit of it lifted. I'm going to look inside wherever I put my flashlight. Right there. Alright, so the rubber mat does have screws that come up through the bottom through the porcelain. So I can see that. I can see the gears. So we're not going to lift anymore. I now need to find the screw holes. So now that I'm looking for screw holes, I have an idea on what holds this thing together. So there's two ways of doing this. You can try and peel this entire mat off, which is probably not going to come off very easy. Or you can just feel where the screw holes are using your thumb or a finger, and then just poke a hole and unscrew the screw, which is usually the easiest to do, honestly. Unless you don't care about the mat. Then you can peel the mat off, clean it, and then put a whole new mat on. It just won't say Lemax. I guess I was wrong again, because when it just shifted, the part that screwed down lifted up too. It looks like it is, just the top comes off. So let's continue popping the glue. Now if you were to heat this up, you would got to be careful because you don't want to melt the plastic, and if you get it too hot you can melt the paint off of the porcelain. The dual tool technique is just so you don't pinch your fingers, and it actually helps with separation. So you just put one tool in and then you pop it and then you move it down. Helps the part come apart. There we go. So it's completely separated now. Now let's see how it lifts off, because there's a lot of wires that come up through that go up in here for the lights. Alright, so there's just one piece of glue holding it, and now it's just caught in the back. And I think it's probably caught where these wires come in. So before we just yank it and lift it, let's do a little bit more checking. It's kind of neat on the back. They have a backstage door. That's kind of cool. So yeah, we're going to have to pivot it onto its back using the wires as a hinge for the moment. So I swear this thing weighs at least 5 pounds, if not more. Alright. The wires are held on with the same glue or resin they use to stick the top on, and that's what's preventing me from lifting it. So before all the wires break, I'm going to try and separate them from the drips of adhesive. There's one. Because there's a lot of wire in here that would actually allow a slack. So I got 2 of them out. Now I just need to get this bundle here. That's that bundle, so that's 3. And there we go. So now we got all the wires, and the yellow wire did break. So we'll have to fix that. Here's the noise. The noise is porcelain overcasting. All the holes are full of it, stuck to the pad. These holes kind of line up with the screws that hold this bottom on. So that's why I thought maybe what I was seeing would line up with these holes here. They don't. Just getting a chunk of glue out. It's got a hair on it. Alrighty. We've got a big plate right here in the middle. You can kind of see it. You can see down this way. There is 3 screws on the bottom, and then the top arch has 3 screws, and there's 3 screws in the middle. More porcelain. I have no idea what all the black specks are, but they're not coming out. They kind of remind me of cricket poop, but it's not cricket poop. You can see that this character here does not move. You can see the gear stop right here. There's nothing in this corner. So that has been, solved. So now I'm going to remove this disc. I'm going to start with the outer ones first, because sometimes the center 3 just hold in the wheel that spins and it comes out as one piece. I guess if you're taking it apart, it comes with this nice little tray that you can put all your pieces in. So you can sort out your screws in the different holes. They thought about you on this one. And their glue job wasn't very good. You can see they did a decent job here and here, and here's the drips I was talking about. And there, on the back, this side didn't adhere very well, and there's almost no glue in the front. You got a spot, a spot, a spot, a spot, a spot, and a spot. Not a beam, a stream or a steady coating. So this is definitely a house you'd always want to carry from the base and not grab it from the top, because it might separate and fall apart. But the top is the heaviest piece. That top theater weighs more than this. I would never recommend carrying this one from the top. I'd always recommend carrying it 2 hands from the bottom base, except when it's in its package. Then carry in its package. It's the last of the 6 screws. There we go. Here's your circuit board with some Molex connectors and then just some soldered on ones for the lighting. You got your big gears. So it looks like to get to the motor, we're going to have to take out the center 3 screws. Your speaker is right here. Might be hard to see. Your planetary gears are there. Of course, you got 2 that came down with the pad. I guess while it's up like this, probably re-adhere this piece so it's not bouncing around in here. As you can see, the glue on the bottom has broke free. So before it's reassembled, we should probably glue that back in. So next we're going to take out the center 3 screws. Make sure that if you're doing this sideways like this, that you're supporting the center section, which I'm doing with my left hand, to prevent it from falling and breaking that Christmas tree. All the screws are the same, so if you mix up the center 3 and the outer 6, it doesn't matter. Same length, same thread. Alright. And it is just covered in grease. So I'm assuming the motor is bad, probably because it's full of grease. It could be bad from something else. But since we have it apart and visible, let's plug it back in. Like that. It's working now. The reason these aren't spinning, if you can tell, is because it uses the gear in here to do it. But it's working now. This motor, though, is covered in grease. So I'm going to put a little stress on the motor and see if we can get it to stop. Or maybe some of that debris that was in here got wedged into the gears. Or there's a broken gear. So one way to test is to put stress on it, meaning you try and slow it down with your fingers. And if it's got a broken gear, oh, it'll come out and let you know. Yeah, it didn't come apart. I could hear some noise. It could be a possible chipped gear, or it could be the belt slipping. So let's take off the next layer. So we're going to check the three. We're going to take out the 3 screws and check the top layer of gears. This has the impossible gear right there. So if the impossible gear is not broken, the next gear that usually breaks is this little 10 tooth. So let me turn that guy. Ten tooth is good. Let's check the first step gear. Good. Let's check the next step gear. That's good. Excessive amounts of grease. That's bad, because they are right up against the motor. The motor might just be failing, but I'm thinking there's some of that debris that we cleared out, the broken porcelain, the overcastings. I think it got caught. It doesn't look like it could, just for the fact that this little housing is relatively sealed. The only place where things can get in is the hole for the wires. But I'm not sure. Let's keep going. This black isn't something's bad. This black is a grayish colored bushing to help keep the torque transfer from the pulley to the gear centered. There we go. Put these 3 screws in. We'll take out the bottom layer of 3 screws, and that will give me access to the bottom to check the pulley and the belt. Well, pulleys, because there's 2. Yeah, that belt's definitely shredding. You can see all the black, and there's pieces of it up on here. And this this pulley is chipped. Interesting. There is a chunk of the pulley that broke right there. I wonder if something did get in here, because I've never seen a chip pulley on any of these pieces before. That is a first. Also, the chip pulley doesn't help if the belt starts to vibrate. The chip will just act like a wood chipper or a belt chipper and remove pieces of the belt, which might explain the dust. The belt's still really pliable. It's nice and stretchy, and it's not vulcanized. Just look at it under some magnification, but the edge of it is chewed up. Oh yeah, One whole side is probably catching that chip. But yeah, that's weird. In this little section, there's nothing in here that I could see that could cause the chip. There's grease on the tree. Since this sits in here, I'm checking the teeth to see if any of these teeth are broke. See if that was something. Here is a piece of porcelain, which sits on this inner ring. So maybe that's the problem. The reason it doesn't work and it sounds horrible is the porcelain casting got into the mechanism, got stuck in the grease, and then bound up the gears. It may have been bouncing around in here and chipped that pulley. And, well, so it needs a pulley and it needs a belt. At the moment, we got the broken piece of porcelain that was in here out. We got all the broken pieces out of here, except for these that are stuck to the sticky mat. Let's see. I know I have some pulleys lying around here somewhere. Those are all too big. I know where all my gears are because those are what break. I've never had a pulley break or need to be replaced. So we got bigger pulleys and taller pulleys. Thing is, I just bought a complete rebuild kit and I don't know where I set it. Because if I remember right, it has pulleys. Probably gonna have to go find a pulley. Oh, wait, I think I found one. Nope, it's one size smaller. Damn, I got pulleys, you know. Alright, well, bear with me for a moment. I'm going to go find the right size pulley. I'll be right back. We'll get the pulley and belt replaced. We'll reassemble it. We'll reassemble the whole thing and make sure that it does what it's supposed to do. I might actually unscrew the motor and clean off this excessive grease since it's up against the motor at the same time, so that way we don't have to deal with a future motor malfunction. So I'll return in just a moment. Alright, found a replacement pulley. It's off of a parts house I have. It still has the original motor and gear assembly in it. So I just snagged the pulley. You don't have to unscrew the motor to replace the pulley. I'm unscrewing the motor to clean it and replace the pulley. Don't lose those screws, which I mention quite often. Yeah, the whole face is greasy. You don't want any of that in the windings. That's what shorts out these motors. The only thing you need lubrication on is the gears. The motors are not lubricated. So, and the electricity shorts out once the motors do get lubricated, and then you have a problem. So here's the bad pulley. Here's the good pulley. Really thinking that what happened was the piece of the ceramic broke free, got inside this center section, probably got caught underneath the belt for a second, chipped the pulley, because the pulley is facing this bottom plastic, then migrated around from movement, whether it be movement of the mechanism or movement of the house, into the teeth of the this ring, the planetary teeth, and then wedged it, which is why you could hear it straining, because the motor's not dead, it's just stuck. So a new, thicker belt. There we go. All right, push the wire back down. That in there so we can keep it centered, because it's walking a little. Speaker sounds good. The light that's in there is bright as all get out. So she's doing pretty good. So this is the bad belt, which I'm going to toss. Doink. And it might be hard to see. So I'm going to point at it with. There's the chip. Right there. So, and that's That's what's chewing up the belt. So that's now in the receptacle of trash. It's just so greasy. Let's screw the tree down and put the base back together, fix the broken wire, and load test this thing. I know it doesn't matter, all the screws are the same, but still want to try and use them where they came from. There we go. A lot of things to line up. You got to get all the gears, shafts into their respective holes. You got to get the screws into their standoff holes. There's a lot of things that need to be in place to work. And then of course this entire center section has to line up as well, which it's not doing. Since I got 400 little gears that all need to be in the correct position to slide together, and they don't want to do it, let me see if that helps. Put pressure on it. See if I get them to line up. Well, I got the big one to line up. Now I lost the little guys. Ooh, that one spins. This one doesn't. Holy, oh wow! Look at that. There's more porcelain stuck in here. Holy smokes! No wonder it's not turning and still making funny sounds. Hey, look at that. Okay, so this has a lot of porcelain casting that's getting caught in everything. This is more porcelain. It's kind of the reason why when I did the Be Afraid clock smith, when I modified it to be a real clock, I went in the windows and broke off the castings, is mainly for this reason. I didn't want any of the castings getting in the way of the what I was doing. The clock mechanism sealed. I'm not too concerned that it's going to get into the clock mechanism, but this always poses an issue when you have a porcelain house that they don't clean the base. Some of these gears still aren't lined up. Where are we caught? There we go. Usually just rotate. There we go. Now we're starting to get together. Let's rotate it again. Come on. All right, she's together. I just gotta put screws in it. Like I said, normally I just rotate them by hand, but there's just too many. There's so many gears and so many things that need to be lined up. Using the motor to turn it for me, since I only have 2 hands and not 16. Now, as far as the other casting that's in here, you can sit here and pick it all out with a pair of tweezers or needle nose pliers. But if you want to be fast and lazy, also it does the same thing. You can use your hot glue gun and just fill all of these holes, which there's 6, to cover all those castings and keep them sealed, like a time capsule. So. There we go. Alright, I know the wire still broke, and I will address that in a few moments, but I want to set this back down into its hole. And I forgot to glue in the backer. Nobody reminded me. Alright, let's see if... Beautiful. The individual wheels are spinning the opposite direction of the rotation. The light works. I don't know what wire broke. Huh. All those lights are on. Unless there's a light inside here. But we'll still fix it. It doesn't... Nothing really leaves here half-assed unless it's not repairable. So, I'm going to fix the wire, answer the door, because apparently UPS is here, and get the little people so when we glue this top back on, we can actually show the full thing functioning. So, I'll return in a few once I get my next repair project that just showed up. Let's talk to you in a minute. Alright, it is back together, and I have to turn it on to get the last 2 characters on. So, I cannot tip it, unfortunately, to show you how it looks on the inside at the moment. So I'll just take a cell phone video and attach it at the end. The base is now glued back on with this stuff. It's the clear Gorilla Glue. It's kind of like a resin glue, similar to what they used. It has a 12 to 24 hour setup. So for the next, well, till tomorrow, this thing's going to sit just like this. And, well, not running. And then it'll go back in its box and get shipped back to its owner. So, to take this one apart, you have to break the plastic base away from the porcelain or ceramic, just making sure it's centered before it starts fully curing. Then carefully tip it back, breaking for any wires that got stuck in the overabundance of adhesive. I did fix that yellow wire. It is a light inside this castle piece over here, which you should see when I turn off the lights. You saw how to get to the motor. Take out the outer 6 screws. You get the center hub. Take out the middle 3 screws. Take the Christmas tree out, which then you can get to the 3 screws for the gears and the 3 screws for the motor. You flip it upside down. You can replace the belt, pulley, gears, etc. These 6 holes, I filled them with hot glue to hold all those pieces of ceramic down. Just tired of trying to pick them out with a pair of needle nose, so I just filled them with glue. That does 2 things. Stops them from going inside the unit and getting caught again, and, well, hold the mat on if the mat starts to separate after years of sitting. So, so I'm going to turn it off, or not this, the light, so you can see an aerial shot of this, and then I will take a video from a cell phone going around it and attach it after. So, thanks for watching. Until the next one.